like and subscribe. People who have been cheated on, how did you find out? His friend was kind enough to tell me. It ruined their relationship, but it was very meaningful to me. I appreciated someone doing me the kindness of letting me know. I had a similar experience. Her best friend found out she had been having an affair for a decade and told me. Being cheated on really destroys your sense of self-worth, but knowing that someone else flushed a 20-year friendship down the toilet to tell you softens that blow a little bit. It really meant a lot. We were out on a date when she got a phone call. Her fiancé had just been in a terrible motorcycle accident and died. We had been dating for about 8 months at that point. We never talked again. The prostitute, literally, banged on the door. When I opened it, she zeroed in on him and threatened to sick her pimp on him for not paying her. You know how Facebook chat bubbles open up on top of whatever app you're on. He sent me a screenshot of something funny between him and his cousin. In the background was a text message about a date he was going on with this girl. I found a sexually explicit love letter that was not from me. We had been married for 15 years. My parents told me. They overheard him on the phone with another woman. We broke up. I made a new friend and she asked if I had a boyfriend, and I told her we had just ended the relationship, but I also told her his name, to which she replied I had a boyfriend with that name, not too long ago. It was not a common name in our area, so I laughed, and I showed her a picture and she did the same, and we stopped laughing. It was the same guy. We both dated him for like 4 months and 2 of those at the same time. Got off early from work one day. Literally walked in on her eyeing some other dude. I thought that kinda only happened in the movies, but it happened to me. My colleague got laid off from work and was sent home early. He walked in to find his girlfriend going at it with his roommate. Talk about a bad day. Eater, his roommate was also his best friend. I had suspicions about my wife for a while, but confirmation came in the form of a voicemail from the guy's wife. Hi, this message is for. It's / / calling. Just wanted to let you know that your wife has been having an affair with my husband / / So, I just thought you should know. If you have any questions, I'm sure your wife would love to tell you all about it. Bye. Absolute power move. You go ******. The girl texted me. I had my doubts, but no evidence. Not that I needed evidence to leave, but that's another story. She texted me on it with screenshots of him chatting with her, and a very prominent pic of his against a very distinctive floor tile. No way to say that's not my. So, busted. Found out after we broke up. Another one of her exes struck up a conversation with me. We compared notes and realized the timelines overlapped. A girl texted me and asked if I was single because she saw my girl making out with someone else at a party. I guess so. My wife cheated and had a 2-year-long affair. I found out when the other man's wife texted me and told me everything. I confronted my wife and she lied through her teeth until I hit her with some facts of the matter that she could not deny. We were HS sweethearts that were together for 18 years and married 11 with 2 young kids, 3 and 5. The absolute worst moment of my life, and I have been in a deep depression since finding out. Funny thing, it was this day 4 years ago that I found out my wife was having an affair with her boss. I knew something was wrong. The way she acted around me was off. I had asked her point blank if she was having an affair with X. She denied it and suggested we go to marriage counseling. I took this as I was doing something wrong and went in hoping to find the issue that could save my marriage. She lied again in the counseling. This went on for about a month and a half. I had Thursdays off of work, so I got up and worked out, did a little bit of cleaning and sat down. That moment my brain went wild with the possibility of her having an affair. So I logged into her Facebook and found the messages between her and ex. I called her crying asking why. She gave me a cold "I don't know to tell you" and hung up. I left the house and went to the bank to get my half of the money. On the way I called an old boss and had a better job in a different city by the end of the day. I'm a pretty simple person. I don't ask for much besides trust and truth in a relationship. That was broken now, and I was out. I ended up remarrying a wood woman with 2 kids and couldn't be happier. Not me but my parents. Dad found out from a dirty text that his best friend of 30+ years sent to my mom. Mom was mentally abusive and convinced him not to tell me. I was in college and did not live at home at the time. I found out a month later when wife of said best friend messaged me on Facebook and asked how I was doing with all of this. Mom left and has not talked to me in 6+ years. Dad got remarried. He just had his first anniversary. New wife adopted me, and I have a good mom for the first time in my life. He was paying his ex rent over Venmo. We were going to move to a whole different state together. Apparently he was thinking all 3 of us were going to be a happy family. Another time, a guy told me his grandpa passed, so he needed to go be with his family. Posted "Mile of my life" on an eye picture with his GF of 1 year. That was not me. His grandpa was fine. His grandpa was not dead. Everything was okay. I was not attracted to his grandpa, guys. DD. I had suspicions prior to me actually finding out, but it was a fun story. I worked the overpass shift at a printing store. My then girlfriend was sleeping soundly at our apartment, or so I thought. At around 3 AM, she walked in wearing an oversized hoodie and leopard print high heels. I am a bit puzzled. She looks she has been crying. I ask her what is going on. She says she wrecked her car and needs my keys, so she can go home and sleep. I give her the keys and she leaves. I get home at around 8 AM. She is sleeping. Her purse is on the table. Her phone is there. I reach for her phone. The purse falls sideways out, spills condoms. I unlock her phone and go to her messages. There is a long text conversation between her and another man. She had been cheating for a while. I woke her up and asked that she leave that day. My dad helped me drop her off at her grandparents'. She was drunk driving her brand new car home from a party with her other lover when she lost control of her car in a ditch. She reported it as stolen and had a friend give her a ride to my workplace. I have had no contact with her since and I never want to see or hear from her again. I'd been seeing this girl for 8 months, and flowers arrived from a guy called Matt on her birthday, but she managed to convince me he was just a friend. It wasn't a problem as I was finally meeting her family for the first time at her birthday meal that same day, and she dropped the L-bomb a few days before. I stayed at hers after the meal, then left for work in the morning. Later that day I sent her the usual text of "when you free next," and then she decided to inform me that Matt was actually her boyfriend of 5 years, and she was moving 300 miles to the house that he had bought for them both, and I would never get to see her again. Safe to say it left me with just a few trust issues. He made out with my best friend at the time right in front of me. It was surreal. Totally unprompted as well. They just went for it out of nowhere. You are okay? I thought this was just me, and that is why I have never told anyone this story. It was so embarrassing. She was not my best friend, but we were still pretty close. Then my boyfriend at the time just wrapped an arm around her and started kissing her while I just sat awkwardly next to them. I was so stunned I almost brushed it off before it hit me that oh my god, my boyfriend is kissing another girl. I literally had to walk away to process it, and tbh I don't think they even noticed, because it took a bit of time for them to even talk to me about it. My friend walked up to me, and I confronted her, asking why TF she would do that with my boyfriend, and she called me a for using the boyfriend card. It is one of the stupidest excuses I have ever heard, and the worst part is that I did feel like a since everyone seemed so calm about it. Turns out that Sheno had been his side chick as soon as we started dating. Even some of my friends knew, but for some reason they just assumed I was fine with Ito vertical bar. Apparently being bisexual means you cannot have your boundaries violated. Woo, sorry to unload all this here, but it is incredibly validating to know that I am not the only one who has experienced something this ridiculous. And it is crazy how shameless they were about it too. I always felt like no one would believe me if I told them, because it just felt so vertical bar straightforward. I am really sorry you had to go through that. I hope you are doing better now D-dash. His brother told me. Found out the car accident he had been in a year earlier was as bad as it was, because he was in the backseat getting a blowjob when they got into the accident. No, he was not driving. I am a claims adjuster and I handled a very similar claim. Guy was cheating on his wife. He was driving, while his much younger girlfriend was giving him a BJ. He lost control of the vehicle and flipped it. The girl died. He was fairly seriously injured, did not lose his though. His wife had him served with divorce papers in the hospital. I had been in a long-term, but long-distance relationship with a girl and I truly adored her. We saw each other as often as we could, and always made the most of our time together. She traveled with her mum to visit her grandmother, and staying at her grandmother's house was her male cousin who she had not seen since they were children. Next time she came to visit me, she planned on taking a detour on her way home, to stay with her grandmother and cousin for a few days. She spoke about her cousin a lot, and I was genuinely pleased that she had reconnected with him. She was shy and did not make friends easily. It had been her birthday and I had bought her lots of nice gifts including a camera which Sheno had wanted for a long time. I walked her to the train station, and kissed her goodbye, and wished her a lovely stay with her grandmother. A couple of days passed, and I did not hear anything from her, which was unusual. I called her mobile phone a few times, and sent her text messages just asking if she was okay and got no reply. On the fourth day I called her mum, who I got on with exceptionally well, to ask her if Sheno had heard from her daughter. She hadn't called, not understand why she had not called me, so she gave me the home phone number of the grandmother. I called and her grandmother answered. I did not give my name, but asked to speak with my girlfriend, who came straight to the phone, obviously unaware that I had been given the number. When she heard my voice she went very quiet. I eventually got her to admit that she had feelings for someone, but I naively explained that the only person Sheno had been spending time with was her cousin. Then the penny dropped, and I realized it was him. She eventually admitted that she had been physical with him. Strange how when I walked her to her train that day and kissed her goodbye as I had so many times before over our 4-year relationship, that it would be the last time I would ever see her. That was 20 years ago and it still hurts. Apparently 3 months of dating, kissing, meeting her parents, going on vacation together, meant we were just casual. She went overseas, and came back excited with a story about how she ed a French man, telling it to the whole lunch table with me sitting next to her. Only after telling the story, did she think to turn to me, and ask if it was okay. She had been acting a bit strange, and felt like more of a roommate than significant other. I had seen her get some message, and try to keep it hidden. At work the next week I guessed her egg password, and found blatant message exchanges with her ex plus other men. I immediately started looking for a new place to live, and was getting all my things in order, when my boss let me go. I waited a few weeks to break up with her. While I figured my life out, I was at peace though, because I knew she was a horrible person and I also no longer had to deal with my asshole boss. Edit, since this is getting attention, if you have this miserable experience, just know that the best revenge is to live a full and happy life with absolutely no contact. Drop them out of your life, go find some new hobbies, and decide the sort of person you want to be. Developing who you are will eventually lead to understanding when you truly connect with someone. He got arrested after her mom came home early. He was 23, she was 16. Yeah, that wasn't fun. She showed up at our place one day to surprise him. It's been years, but I can still see the look on his face when he saw us together. Got a very severe UTI, and while I was I'm blood in the air, decided to have some tests run. Came back positive for chlamydia. Case closed. Boyfriend was cheating on me. Ex-wife cheated on me. I had my strong suspicions, which were verified a couple years later by her sister. The tipping point, after months of her going to her friend's place to take herself out of the space with myself and the kids. When she was having anxiety, I stumbled across her coworker's Facebook, which had a picture of the two of them as a profile pic. It may not have been the first time, and I think there is a good possibility that my son may not actually be mine. I was in Denver for a month for work. When I got home, we had a date night planned, but she called me crying and confessed that she'd been with someone else while I was out of town. As it turns out, someone was actually her ex-husband. It also turns out I dodged a major bullet there, because a few months later she called me to tell me that she found out she had herpes. I got checked out, and I did not have it, so she did me a huge favor by not having sex with me again after getting back with her ex. My wife told me she was driving to Pittsburgh from our home in Virginia to see an old mutual friend of ours. I knew she had a friend that I was suspicious about that lived a bit further north in New York, but it wasn't until I got a call from my bank asking to confirm the charges that I realized she not only went straight to New York, none of the charges on the card were for a hotel. Edit. To add a backstory, she started as the operations manager for a big box store, and this kid was one of her employees. They began to secretly flirt with each other behind my back. I knew of this guy, but didn't know what they were up to, thinking she just had to work late. A few months later, he gets accepted to a college in Syracuse, New York, and had to move into his dorm. Again, I knew about this because she at least told me that in passing when I asked about her day at work. Something about being proud of one of her employees. She became reclusive, spending most of her time texting someone and guarding her phone. I should have known better, but I was young and naive, convinced she would never do anything to hurt me. A few months later she plans a trip to see a mutual friend of ours, but didn't invite me, which was strange seeing as it was a family friend. I got a call from the bank to verify charges, and that's when I discovered that she'd been in Syracuse the whole time and never rented a hotel. That's when I found out for sure. I didn't know until well over a decade later, when I saw a compromising photo of her on the internet that was time-stamped when we were together, and I did not take said photo. Gave it a well then, and kept scrolling. The guy she was cheating on me with told me. To be fair to him, he didn't even know we were dating at the time. But we had mutual friends that knew we were dating, and so he figured it out. Anyway, it sucked pretty bad, but he was cool about it, and also felt bad. He and I actually ended up hanging out for a while, and she basically got totally ostracized from our friend group. So I feel like I came out on top. She was driving and handed me her phone so we could get directions to wherever we were going. She got a message from the dude I was worried about asking if they were still on for their date later that day. Undeleted photo on their phone 1 month after our wedding. Then confessions came flooding. Found his kid's birth certificate. The dog was smack in the middle of our multi-year relationship, saw a vertical bar. Yay. His sister, whom I had never met, called me up to tell me no that, while he was across the country visiting them, his ex-wife had driven up there, and they were back together. He promised me that wasn't the case, but the sister stealing my number from his phone and calling me sent up red flags, so I broke it off. He called me a few months later and tried to restart our romance. His sister again called to let me know he had remarried said ex-wife. He got really persistent about being into a relationship, even though he knew I knew he was married. I don't know why this sister did it, but bless her. I found out when they weren't there to take me home from surgery. Left while I was under anesthesia. Edit. My first ever award. Thank you, kind stranger. Edit 2. Wow. More awards. I didn't expect this to get so much attention. A Facebook message from a random guy I met. My first long-term girlfriend and I were going to go to the same college. I got accepted, but had to start the semester after she did, meaning we would be slightly long distance for a few months. It wasn't too bad, because we were only about 2 hours apart, so it was pretty easy to visit, but our relationship did struggle a bit. I remember one night I got a phone call from her, and when I picked up it was obvious it was a butt dial. I could hear her talking to some guy, but couldn't make out what they were saying. I called her, and she picked up, and I asked what was up. She said she was in bed about to go sleep. I told her about the butt dial and she said it was her friend Jack, who I had met, asking to borrow something. I thought it was odd, but brushed it off. A couple weeks later I was up there visiting her, and I met a bunch of cool people, including this guy Luke. After I got back from visiting I get a Facebook message from him saying, "Look man, I hate to be the one to say this, but I think you're an awesome guy and you don't deserve this to be happening to you. She's been cheating on you with this guy pretty soon after she started here." I was devastated, but I had to hear it from her, so I called her and said, "Are you cheating on me?" She gave a heavy sigh and said, "Well, at least I don't have to lie anymore." That guy's voice I had heard wasn't Jack, it was the guy she was cheating on me with. I just trusted her so much that I took her word for it. Even though it was painful, I was grateful for Luke sending me that message. What's funny is that most of the people I met up there that were her friends sided with me after the breakup, so when I started going there that next semester I had a group of friends to support me, and most of them are still very close friends of mine to this day. She fell asleep looking at her trophies, saved screenshots of sexting. I was in the room while she was doing it. I was living abroad, so we were doing long distance. He visited me, then less than a month after he went back home, an old coworker/friend told me she saw him at a bar kissing and holding hands with another girl. She confronted them, and he was saying that his best friend who is also in a relationship. That other girl ended up being my brother-in-law Srinder's girlfriend Lamayo. It was so messy. Edit. I am just gonna rat that I paid for his plane ticket to come see me as well as lending him a bunch of spending money. He did not pay me back for a long time, and overall I probably only got half of it back. I know that was my own stupidity too, but it just made the situation so much. Oh man, I have a bunch of these. My new at the time girlfriend's friend straight up just told me my girl didn't actually leave her old boyfriend, she was still with him. I was having dinner with an ex, and she was telling me about her new boyfriend, and that they started dating in January. She forgot we were still together in January. It was years later, I didn't really care. I had an ex drop her purse and condoms fell out. We didn't use condoms. She told me she was sleeping with others. Another ex, right before going to bed, grabbed her phone, texted someone, then started deleting texts. I just asked her, and she said yeah. You can really pick her up. You've been visited by the ghost of a very important man. Pay your respects by liking and subscribing, and he'll grant you 3 weeks of good luck.